I'm so glad to see the room so full. As a realtor, we're always looking at stats and figuring out what's going to happen in the market. So I subscribe to the Orange County Housing report that comes out every 2 weeks by a local, I know Kathleen knows him too, Stephen Thomas, who does a local Orange County, like what's up, what's going on in the business. So recently we had a report that came out. In his report, he had the top 10 housing trends, but it would probably take me 20 minutes to go over and I'll explain that. So I took the top 5. And so that you can kind of get a sense of where our market is here in 2014. The top 5 housing trends right now is the increase of active inventory. Since mid-March of 2013, we only had 3,183 homes on the market. Today, 6,667. So you can see that that's almost double. And we're thinking that the average inventory will tap out about 8,000 by the time we get to August. Now we have equity sellers, and they're dominating the market right now. For the past 3 months, equity sellers represented 94% of all closed sales here in Orange County. So, and good to say that only 5% of homes that are mortgaged are underwater now. What also is impacting, number 3, is the short sale and distressed market. And fortunately, that's only a small part of the market right now. 3 years ago, more than 50% of the sales were either short sales or foreclosures. And the bank was in the driver's seat. And today, we've put them in the back seat, and they're only making up about 6% of sales today. Unfortunately, though, that has a caveat to it, then the closed sales are now down about 12.6%. Then that's because the equity sellers just can't make up for that loss of the banks had so much on their books. But so this year the sales are approximately 8,272, which is down from 9,469 last year. So then the final thing is the fact that it's the overpriced and overzealous sellers. Now that they have equity and there's been appreciation, some of them are back with a vengeance and they're like asking too much for their house. But the buyers are just holding out. When there's a lot of demand, like in 2012 and 2013, the sellers could get away with a little overpricing because there just was more demand than there was inventory. But this year, it's a different story. The days on the market for these overpriced homes tell the story that buyers are just kind of willing to wait, massage it out a little bit, more to choose from. They're going to look around and have more choices. So that's the real estate part of my presentation today. But when I was showboating 2 weeks ago, I showed, because I am an avid reader, not only just for murder mysteries and lawyers, I like that kind of reading, but for that's just instead of TV for me. But what I also do over the 30 years of my business, I have a stack of a library of business books that I like to read, people who are entrepreneurs themselves. I think the biggest mistake realtors make in getting started in our business is they don't treat it like a business. They need a 4 to 5 year plan, just like anybody who is starting up a business. So I didn't bring all those books today because I knew I wasn't going to have time to really pick the real ones I really like to share with the group. But so I brought one that, some quotes from one that I think we all will recognize. Do we all know Lee Iacocca, right? Do you kind of remember him back when, the Chrysler deal? Well, he's written a book that I read years ago, and I want to just give you some of his quotes. It says, "The true test of a leader." Now, the reason he called himself a leader, he said, well, I've never been a commander-in-chief, but I certainly have been a CEO. And I always say, everyone in this room, we're all the CEOs of our business, and we need to treat it like that. So here are his 8 C's of leadership. First one, curiosity. Listen to people outside of your yes sir inner circle and read voraciously because there's a big world out there. Number 2, creative. Go out on a limb once in a while. Be willing to try something different. Number 3, communicate. Not running your mouth. You know, that's one way people communicate, but tell the truth and always face reality. Character. Have the guts to do the right thing. And I always say character, I've said this in a lot of speeches that I've had to do over the years when I've been president of a couple organizations. Your character is how you treat people and what you do when no one else is watching. Conviction. You all know that conviction when there's a fire in your belly to succeed. Well, that's the conviction you need when you start a business and run a business. Charisma. Now, that's not to be flashy, but it is to be likable, someone who you can inspire, who is inspiring, and because they trust you. 7 is competent. Seems obvious, but of course you need to know what you're doing and surround yourself with people who know more than you do so that you can learn from them. And the last one is common sense. And it's harder than it sounds. We think that say, oh, just use your common sense. But there are a lot of people out there who just don't have the street smarts to have common sense. But you have to be able to reason and to accept help when needed. So I'm going to close with my 3 simple rules in life. If you do not go after what you want, you'll never have it. If you do not ask, the answer is always no. If you don't step forward, you will always be in the same place. I'm happy to take any questions if you have any.